Hey, good morning. Good morning. Welcome everybody here to the Birmingham City Council's regular scheduled meeting. We're here at 9:30 this morning. We're going to have our prayer by Councilor Woods and the Pledge of Allegiance. I think Councilor Abbott. Okay. Good morning. Everyone can please stand.
Bow your heads. Dear Heavenly Father, Lord, we thank you for the opportunity just to come before you today, Lord, for the opportunity to get up and wake up and serve, Lord. We just ask that you guide our decision making, Lord. We ask that you cover this city, Lord. We ask that you remove any hatred that leads to violence, Lord. We ask that you just give us a focus to have the will to do the things that are necessary in order to lead this city going forward, Lord. We have many challenges before us, and Lord, we just ask that you continue to keep us safe, Lord. Guide our decisions. Let our steps be ordered by you. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen. Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Yes, sir. Council President Pro Tem Alexander.
Morning here.
Good morning. Councilor Hilliard. Councilor Hoyt.
Yes, I'm present.
Councilor O'Quinn.
Good morning.
Good morning. Councilor Smitherman. Good morning. Councilor Williams.
Good morning.
Good morning. Councilor Woods. Councilor Abbott. And President Parker.
Good morning. Good morning. I don't have, let me see if the minutes, sorry, I left my book over. The minutes are not ready at this time, so don't see the mayor in here at the moment, so we're going to move to the consent agenda.
Could I, the announcement of boards and agencies?
Okay, there are some, okay.
Yes, so we have one. This vacancy is on the Birmingham Civil Rights Institute, Dr. Carlos Allman. His term expires September 1st. It's a 3-year term, and it falls under the Park, Recreation, and Cultural Arts Committee.
Okay, all right.
All right. Now, the consent agenda. The consent agenda begins on page 2 with items 1 and 2. And then we go over to page 32 with item number 3. Then we go to page 34 with items 4 and 5. Page 35, excuse me, items 6 and 7. Page 42, item 8. Page 43, item 9. Page 44, items 10 and 11. Page 45. On page 45, please note that item number 14 has been withdrawn by the mayor's office. So we go to page 46, items 15 and 16. Page 47, items 17, 18, and 19. Page 48, items 21, 22, and 23. Page 49, items 24, 25, 26, and 27. Page 50, items 28, 29, 30, and 31. On page 51, items 32, 33, 34, and 35. And on page 52, items 36 and 37, and that completes the consent agenda.
Okay. Are there any items that we need to add or take off consent? Dr. Quinn, I'll just start with you if you're good. Okay. All right. Councilor Hoyt, we'll just work our way up and come back down. Good morning. How you doing?
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning, Mr. President.
Good morning.
And to all of you. Item 15 and 16.
You want it off or on?
Off, uh-huh.
Okay, 15 and 16, okay.
Okay. Item 18 and 19. Item. I believe that.
That's everything?
That's everything.
Okay, all right. Councilor Abbott?
He got the two that I was.
Okay, all right. Councilor Williams, Woods. Good morning, Councilor
Item
Smith.
13, I would like to add item 13.
Added to. Everybody's good with adding item 13 to the agenda?
page?
I mean, to the consent.
Sorry, page 45.
Councilor Hoyt, you good with that?
Yes, fine.
Okay. All right, that was being added to the agenda. Added to the consent agenda. Is that all, Councilor Smith?
Yes, thank
Okay,
you.
yes, ma'am. President Pro Tem.
Can we add item 20?
Okay. Item 20 to the consent agenda, everyone? We're good?
It's on page 48.
Okay. All right, add that one. Is that all?
Yes,
Madam Pro
thank
Tem? Okay. Councilor Hilliard, you're good? Okay, all righty. All items designated as consent are routine and non-controversial and will be approved by one motion. No separate discussion of these items will be permitted unless a council member, the mayor, or citizen interested in a public hearing so request. If so, such item or items will revert to its normal place on the agenda order of business. All matters of permanent operation will be read. All other matters will be announced by reading the item number only. All public hearings will be announced. So we need a motion.
Motion to approve is amended.
Second.
Before you carry it, Mr. President, you can place item 16 on there.
We can't put it on consent.
I said you can.
Okay, all
I'd
right.
like to keep it off. I was proud of you for taking it off.
All right. Oh, my. Okay, well, it's going to stay off.
I'm seeking validation this morning. Thank you.
All right, 16 is off. Okay, we got a motion in front of us. We're ready to vote on the consent agenda, Madam Clerk.
Okay. President Pro Tem Alexander.
Aye.
Councilor Hilliard.
Aye.
Councilor Hoyt.
Today, yes.
Councilor Quinn. Councilor Smitherman. Councilor Williams.
Aye.
Councilor Woods. Councilor Abbott. And President Parker.
Yes, okay, the consent agenda is approved. All righty. First item, Madam Clerk.
Okay, the first item would be item number 12. And that is on page 45.
Public hearing.
An ordinance authorizing the mayor, upon receipt of payment in the amount of $8,639.29, to execute a quitclaim deed to Frederick Dorothy for the sale of property legally described as Block 8, Lot 5 and 6, Map Book 5, page 7, meets and bounds, Lots 5 and 6, Block 8, J.R. Phillips, 5/7, as recorded in the Office of the Judge of Probate, Jefferson County, Alabama, PID 2300283136.000, and located at 919 47th Way South, Birmingham, Alabama 35222, which was acquired by the city upon foreclosure of municipal improvement liens in accordance with Section 314C of the General Code of the City of Birmingham. This item is an item of public, a permanent operation, so we're gonna need unanimous consent.
Unanimous consent.
All in favor, let it be known by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed?
Move the item.
Okay. That's Counselor Smitherman.
And Counselor Williams.
Okay. President Pro Tem Alexander.
Aye.
Counselor Hilliard.
Aye.
Counselor Hoyt.
Yes.
Counselor O'Quinn.
Aye.
Counselor Smitherman. Counselor Williams. Counselor Woods.
Yes.
Counselor Abbott. And President Parker.
Aye.
Okay.
Okay, that item passes. Next item, Madam Clerk.
Okay, as mentioned before, item 14 is withdrawn. So now we go to item 15, which is on page 46. Item 15 is a resolution authorizing Jefferson County, Alabama to abate the city's non-educational municipal ad valorem taxes in connection with Birmingham 5th Avenue South Holding LLC's redevelopment and reuse of a brownfield site consisting of approximately 1.29 acres bounded by 13th Street South to the west, 5th Avenue South to the south, and 14th Street to the east, upon which Birmingham 5th Avenue South Holdings LLC will develop and construct a 7-story residential student housing complex that will deliver approximately 169 apartment units and related amenities, a 2-story parking deck with approximately 228 parking spaces and approximately 4,500 square feet of street-level commercial space, creating approximately 39 jobs. The abatement will be in effect for a period of 3 years for each parcel of property obtained by Birmingham 5th Avenue South Holdings LLC for the project.
Move the item.
Second.
Okay, the item is before us. A presentation from the mayor's office. Y'all want to ask questions? How y'all want to handle it? Counselor, what you wanted that one off, or? Counselor Hoyt.
Yeah, well, I had just never heard of the Birmingham 5th Avenue Holdings. So, are they present today?
Good morning, sir. Good morning.
Mr. President, Chaz Mitchell, Mayor's Office. Currently, the lawyers that represent Fifth Avenue HL Holdings LLC are at the county presenting the same item to the county. So if you want them here, we'll ask that you lay it on the table.
Well, yeah, I'd like to see, yeah,
Okay.
we could, table it.
All right.
Mr. President, Mr.
Yeah, I'm
Hilliard.
gonna call you. I was letting Councilor Hoyt figure if he was going through just saying if there are any other questions from Councilor Hoyt, and then I would go to
I'm
Councilor Hilliard. Are you?
Yes, sir, Mr. President. Thank
Okay,
you for the
go ahead, Mr.
recognition.
Hilliard.
But they came before economic development, and I found it to be extremely valuable to the city of Birmingham. And
I'm sorry, Councilor Hilliard. Can you speak into the microphone?
yes, I
just
said
wanna- okay.
they came to economic development and presented to us, and we found it to be extremely valuable to Birmingham and the growth and development. Of course, we're in the midst of a pandemic, but we still have people who want to build, create jobs, and give opportunity. I think from my standpoint, I see it being a benefit to the city of Birmingham and creating jobs. The job market now is at an all-time high across the nation. People are really hurting, so any opportunity we give a chance to help our city make money, get some viable people who really want to do something, even in the midst of a pandemic, I think that we should strongly consider that and continue to move it ahead. And I think from some other colleagues they presented, and if they want to speak on that, they can. Thank you.
Yes, I just want to echo that the presentation was also made to the Budget and Finance Committee, and I also viewed the day that this was presented to the Economic Development Committee, and this is an opportunity again that was presented to us for its 7-story residential student housing. So not only is there the financial opportunity for construction staff that will be working on this project, we'll also have the opportunity to have residents living and working and playing within the city. And I believe during that presentation, there was some considerable amount. This is work that's being done on a brownfield. So there is some cost that the developer is incurring in order to remove those items. But, and so some of the abatements were being presented in consideration for the cost they would have for moving those items with the brownfield. Thank you, Mr. President.
Are there others?
I just want to say
Yes,
I'm
ma'am.
happy this is coming to District 6. I'm very happy.
Okay. Are there other comments or anything? Counselor Abbott?
Thank you, Mr. President. Yes, this did come before Budget and Finance, and I thought it was a very good deal for the city, a $55 million project, and the incentives are $736,000. So you don't have to be a rocket scientist to see that this is going to be good for the city. And I have to say, I walk past this property several nights a week, and it is a really, lying fallow is a very, I guess, not descriptive term. It is a dump. It's full of weeds. It looks horrible. It's all vacant except for an abandoned service station that used to be a doggy bathhouse, I think. So it definitely needs to be redeveloped in District 6. and I think that this is going to be good. I'm actually thrilled that these folks still want to move ahead with all that's going on in society right now. It's encouraging that people still have faith. Thank you, Mr. President.
Yes, ma'am. Okay. All righty. Others? Councilor Woods, real quick. Yes,
Yeah,
sir.
I would support laying it on the table and giving the attorneys time to get over from the county.
Yes, sir.
Mr. President,
Well, and let me say this.
Hold on, Councilor. I'd recognize Councilor Hilliard first, and then I'll come to you.
thank you, Mr. President. I recognize we call for the vote, Mr. President.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, well,
Just
I
hold
didn't,
on a second. Let's just go to Councilor Hoyt, and then we'll go
Yeah.
from there. What
now,
was your
I didn't put it off because I didn't think it was a good project. I said I needed to know who was involved. I mean,
Okay.
I think that's fair.
Okay.
And putting it on the table doesn't suggest that I'm not going to vote for it. I'm not going to support it.
Okay.
But, you know, it's about a courtesy. But if that's not the courtesy of the council, then, you know, do what you do.
Okay. Hold on one second. Do we know how long their all right. What's the will? Councilor, we don't know if it's going to be an hour, if it might be 2 hours at the county, and we probably will be completed with our agenda. So, go, Mr. Mitchell.
Well, Mr. President, if the counselor or either Councilor Hoyt or Councilor Woods would suffice, we can have them set up a meeting to meet with them to answer any questions after the vote has been taken. Just like it was stated, it's already been before 2 committees. Oh, they're here? Well, they're here.
Okay, all right, they made it. Okay, all right. Good morning. We'll give you time. I know you've been rushing to get situated, so just just go ahead and take. We'll talk for a minute to give you time.
Thank you, Councilor Parker.
So we're gonna hear a brief presentation, and then we'll go from there. Good morning. How you doing?
I'm well.
Good
How
morning.
are you?
Doing fine. Good morning.
Good. Well, thank you, and I apologize for being late. I ran right over from the County Commission meeting, where I'm pleased to say that all 5 commissioners approved the project this morning. So I know 6 of the 9 have heard the presentation already, because I've been before both the Economic Development Committee and the Budget and Finance Committee. And so I'm glad to have the opportunity to present to the 3 others this morning. So not sure what's been said, but my name's Trey Hill. I'm an economic development lawyer with Bradley here in town, and I'm here on behalf of Next Chapter Properties, who's my client. They are a Chicago-based developer and manager of student housing communities near major universities such as UAB. And they asked me to pass along their sincere regrets. Their mayor, the Chicago mayor, has issued a travel restriction due to COVID that requires a 14-day quarantine period. So, if you do have any questions and are not so inclined to put it forward this morning, then I can certainly find answers for you and get back. So, I have a couple of depictions here. This worked well, if I may, at the committee meetings to show you the project site. So this yellow box here is the project site. It is bound by 13th Street to the west, 14th Street to the east, 5th Avenue South to the south. It's actually comprised of two distinct parcels. You have a 0.96 acre parcel that they've acquired on the western portion, and a 0.33 acre parcel that they have an option to acquire here on 13th Street, or 14th Street, excuse me. On that 0.33 acre parcel, there's a former pet spa building, and as you all know, 14th Street is just the main corridor connecting UAB to the Parkside District, which is a real eyesore. And so we actually, our next chapter actually, at the city's urging, got the option and expanded the scope of their project, basically 30-40%. So they're looking to construct a 7-story residential student housing complex. We'll have 169 apartment units for about 400 residents. It'll have a host of related amenities, a study room that's geared for the UAB students, bicycle parking, fitness centers, courtyards, rooftop terrace, and green space. The first 2 floors of the 7-story structure will be for parking with 228 spaces. And then on that pet spa site, they're looking to put in 4,500 square feet of retail space. The current plan is to have some sort of grab-and-go restaurant that will service both the tenants as well as the public. Again, on that main thoroughfare linking UAB and Parkside. So total capital costs for the project are estimated to be $55,275,000. Construction is slated to begin either later this year or Q1 of 2021 and be ready for occupancy by the students beginning the 2022 UAB school year. I have a couple of vertical depictions. You'll note that they're really clean slates right now. They're white. They're not depicting any of the windows, facade, building material. Next chapter is currently in the process of choosing what those materials look like. And as I mentioned at both committee meetings, they've been in extensive conversations with Stuart Perry, who, as you'll probably know, is the Birmingham-based commercial general contractor here. It's done a lot of the projects that have helped our city revitalize recently. And Merrill, who is the president and founder of Stuart Perry, has said that these guys have spent more time and attention to detail to get it right, to pick the right materials to not only be a structurally sound building, but also one that will have great curb appeal and something that our city can be proud of. Merrill has discussed the project with Michael Bell at the BCIA and are working to put together a participation plan that I'm sure Michael will support. Most importantly, probably, is the fact that there are about $1.5 million of environmental cleanup and mitigation costs to ready the project for project site for the project. I sent around some more detailed information pertaining to the $1.5 million of cost, including phase 1s and 2s for both parcels. And effectively, the breakdown is there's about $1,095,000 of excavation, haul-off disposal, and certification costs to remove 4 feet of contaminated soils on the site. And then they also have to construct 15 to 25-foot concrete piers in the site. And the expectation is that they'll have to remove excess contaminated soils related to it at about $105,000. And the balance is comprised of ADEM fees of about a little over $50,000, engineering fees of about $130,000, and then legal fees of about 65. So all told, it's a little more than $1.5 million of costs. After the Economic Development Committee meeting, Next Chapter issued Josh, Dr. Carpenter, a letter effectively saying that due to these $1.5 million of environmental costs, market-controlled rental rates, ever-rising construction costs, it would be impossible for the project to secure adequate capital without these incentives. Sort of but-for letter, as I like to think of them in the economic development space. The impact on the city, there'll be 100 on average construction jobs during the roughly 20-month construction period. Once it's placed in service, the expectation is there'll be 3 full-time, 5 part-time employees located on site to manage the building, and then that 4,500 square feet of retail space will be staffed. The expectation is 3 full-time, 28 part-time employees. So all told, the expectation is that tax revenue generation for the city of Birmingham over the project's first 10 years is $6,275,000. What we're asking this council to consider is a brownfield property tax abatement for a period of 3 years. We just got the recommendation for the county to approve a 4-year brownfield property tax abatement for its portion of the non-educational property taxes, and then there would be a 10-year state property tax abatement. So also along with that, there is a DRA, or Downtown Redevelopment Authority, incentive request, and while the DRA is an independent body, certainly City Council's approval and recommendation would carry a lot of weight. And what we're doing there is requesting that the DRA exempt the 4% state of Alabama sales and use tax on construction materials, half of the county's sales and use tax, so 1% of their 2%, and then half of Birmingham's sales and use tax, so 2% of their 4%. So that reduces the rate from 10% to 3% for the project. So what it means in dollars from the city's perspective is the DRA sales and use tax savings would be $135,000. The brownfield property tax savings would be about $600,000, so $200,000 per year. So all in, that's about $735,000 of foregone city taxes. Of course, these are all future taxes that the city wouldn't otherwise generate without this project, and is 8.5 times what the city is expected to generate in tax revenue. So there's an 8.5 time multiplier for the city. I know I've just gone on and babbled for a minute, so y'all probably have questions.
Let you catch your breath for a second. I'll see if there are any questions from up here, and give you a second to catch your breath, because I know you just ran over. Yep, Councilor Hoyt.
Yes, thank you. Great presentation. So you said that you talked to BCIA, and so what is the goal on this project with respect to minority participation?
It is a participation goal of 27% minority disadvantaged business enterprise, so 27% of the hard cost of construction.
Okay.
And Councilor Hort, what we can do is ask, as the project goes along, just to update the council, Councilor Hilliard's committee as we move along.
Yeah.
Will do.
Well, as long as I don't attend the meetings.
No, I'm just saying, but yeah, we'll ask Councilor Hilliard to run the point, but we can have those reports brought to us, a committee of the whole, that kind of thing.
And I certainly appreciate you making the presentation. Mr. President, I hope that we don't get in a posture where we don't allow other councils to have the same understanding of projects, and to put something on the table didn't take away from the project. I didn't get this presentation because I don't attend. I have to work. I can't come to every meeting, but I do think that I have a right to be updated, to understand what it is that you asked me to vote on, I think that's fair. And for people to suggest that go ahead and pass something without having to understand, I don't operate that way. I'm not. It might be a character flaw, but I don't. But once I understand a project, I have no problem supporting it. That's not ever been my issue in this city. But the fact that, we were willing to, to move something without all councils having an understanding, I'm telling you, that's ignorance to me. And I didn't come here to be ignorant. I came here to understand the project, and so that we can hold people accountable, as we are charged to do. And I didn't think it hurt anything, but I hope we don't get into that, because then I know what I need to do.
Okay, all right, Council Hoyt, we're gonna be peaceful.
Well, I don't like to disrespect.
Councilor Hoyt, I got it. We're good. Councilor Williams, since you haven't spoken yet.
Yeah, thank you,
and
Mr.
then
President,
we'll
and thank you, Mr. Hoyt, for allowing Mr. Hill to come forward. I think that if the rest of the council knew that it was Trey Hill giving the presentation, that maybe they would have had a different sentiment on waiting, because he always does a great job of getting those facts out there. The only quick question I had is, what is your guys, and there might not be a definite one, but do y'all have a timeline at all?
We do. So start of construction is expected at the end of this year or the first quarter of 2021, and expectation is to be ready and occupied in advance of the 2022 UAB school year.
Okay. Well, Mr. Hill, I do appreciate you being here, and just to share the sentiment of a couple of my colleagues before you arrived here when you were running through the park, is that I think that we really appreciate the willingness of your client out of Chicago to go ahead. I know that there's a lot of uncertainty right now in the marketplace. We're looking at educational institutions not even going back to traditional classes. Is there going to be a lot of stuff online? What is the actual need for student housing going to be? While we at the city are sitting here saying we need as much population and as many shots in the arm as we can get from an economic standpoint. So please convey to your client that sentiment, and we do. It does not go unnoticed there. I guess it was a $55 million investment into the city of Birmingham. And thank you for being here.
Oh, well, thank you.
President Parker.
Okay, all right. Councilor Woods, did you get your questions addressed, or?
Yeah, thank you, Mr. President. Yeah, for the most part, I think, you came to committee. I definitely appreciate you kind of getting into the details of it. My concern, one, was just around how we approach incentives in general and making sure that it's needed in order to make the project go. And so did appreciate the administration last night. I was able to get all the environmental reports and kind of get into that. And, I think if you guys are going to go in and remove that soil, I think it's definitely much needed development. But, I think we do have to kind of look at, not specific to this project, but when we incentivize certain projects, why, and making sure that those incentives are needed to make the project feasible. And so I think in this case, those incentives are needed, kind of after getting a chance to get into the details of the environmental study. I think you guys over 2017 and 2019 on both pieces of property there. So, but yeah, just in a grander scheme of things, I think we have to look at making sure that people prove the need, so to speak, when they're coming for incentives. But I did get all my questions answered. Thank you.
Okay, all right. Thank you. All right.
Yes,
Councilor, here, you're going to wrap us up?
Yes, sir. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. First of all, let me say, I ride my bike around that site all the time, and it's good to see that something's going to be developed. I'm glad that all of the councilmen had an opportunity to share and hear. It is very important that we're educated on the things that's going to come about. I think it'll be a great asset to Birmingham and our economic shot to us. So I'm excited about it. Glad it came through economic development, and it's good to, and hopefully we'll see it come to fruition.
Great,
Thank you now.
Thank you. All right, Madam Clerk, we're ready to vote.
Council President Pro Tem Alexander,
Aye.
Councilor Hilliard,
Aye.
Councilor Hoyt,
Yes.
Councilor O'Quinn, Councilor Smitherman, Councilor Williams, Councilor Woods,
Yes.
Councilor Abbott,
Aye.
and President Parker.
Aye. Okay, that item passes. Next item, Madam Clerk, please.
Okay, the next item is item number 16, also on page 46. A resolution authorizing the mayor to execute any and all documents required for the city to complete a grant with Department of Homeland Security in the amount of $49,467 for the purchase of 100 iPads for the Birmingham Fire and Rescue Service to be used in fire and EMS operations to support the department's patient care reporting, inventory control, field operations, assets control, fire inspections and fire prevention, and mobile devices and applications to conduct online meetings, collaboration, training, and video conference. Said funds to be appropriated to the Birmingham Fire and Rescue, and no matching funds are due from the city. And authorizing the mayor to take any and all actions and execute such documents as are appropriate and necessary to accept and expend the grant funds on behalf of the city for use by the Birmingham Fire and Rescue Services in accordance with the grant documents.
Okay, is there a motion?
Move the item.
It's Councilor Williams, Councilor Smithman, Councilor Hoyt.
Yeah, it was for public consumption.
Okay, good. All right, we're ready for a vote.
Oh, that
Oh.
went to public safety.
Okay, hold on, madam. Do you have,
Yeah, thank you, Mr. President, and I'm sure that Mr. Hoyt took this off once he realized that it did not go through public safety. So I'd like to have a motion to send this item to public safety.
Second.
all right, we're up.
I'm sorry,
ready
the
for,
second was Councilor, okay,
Hoyt.
gotcha, thank you.
Okay, all right. we're up.
Hold on one second.
Vote.
There you go. Okay, and the vote has, oh, I'm sorry. Council President Pro Tem Alexander.
All right.
Aye.
Hold on, is there something you want?
Reconsider my motion.
Okay, he's gonna withdraw his motion for
I'd like to withdraw it
Okay,
because Mr. Mitchell explained it in a way that we actually haven't gotten this grant.
We're applying for it, okay.
Applying for it.
Okay, all right. Okay, well, we are ready to vote for item 16 as it was first read to us by Madam Clerk.
okay. President Pro Tem Alexander.
So we're voting on this, the same item that was presented to us?
Yes,
There's
ma'am,
no
yes, ma'am,
changes?
yeah, no,
As is
yeah,
writ- as
vote-
is
yeah,
written.
Okay,
for
thank you.
approval.
Aye.
Councilor Hilliard,
Aye.
Councilor Hoyt,
Yes.
Councilor O'Quinn, Councilor Smitherman,
Aye.
Councilor Williams,
Aye.
Councilor Woods, Councilor Abbott,
Aye.
President Parker.
Yes, okay, that item passes, Madam Clerk.
Okay, the next item is on page 47, item 18. A resolution approving and authorizing the mayor to amend the ESG program contract between the City of Birmingham and the Young Women's Christian Association of Central Alabama, Inc. for additional homelessness prevention services in the amount of $24,918.52 to be paid from reallocated ESG funds from PY 44 2018 to 2019 and PY 45 2019 to 2020 for a total contract amount not to exceed $63,238.52.
Your motion? All right, it was Councilor Williams, Councilor O'Quinn. Question, yes, ma'am. Councilor Abbott?
I probably have to ask my two colleagues on budget and finance, but I thought I remembered that this was withdrawn during our meeting, so it's not recommended by Budget and Finance as the council's agenda says. And so I think we need to hear what is going on here since it hasn't been reviewed by a committee yet.
Maybe Chaz can come whisper something in your ear.
Well, he probably could, but President Pro Tem Witherspoon and Councilor Smitherman probably couldn't hear that far, so.
Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't want to distract everybody by Councilor Hunter Williams' very handsome photo that was in the About Town magazine.
Is that on, is that GQ?
Yeah, well, I don't know about that. So to answer your question, Councilor Abbott, this item was actually withdrawn from last week's council meeting because the city attorney office had to change some wording. So this item has been before Budget and Finance. It was just worded a little bit differently.
But I thought it was withdrawn in our committee meeting. That's what we're remembering, is that y'all withdrew it.
Yeah, it was withdrawn from the actual council meeting last week due to just some language
I think it was
changes.
withdrawn in our committee also.
Well, if it please, we can bring it before Budget and Finance on Monday.
So you just want to do a 1 week delay on it, Councilor?
Well, I
Abbott
mean,
first?
actually, the council's here, so
Okay.
if they can explain,
Yes.
I'm not one for holding things up unnecessarily, but I think the
Yes,
committee remembers that it was withdrawn, so we just want to know what's going on.
Well, we have Mr. Hatcher here to
Okay.
go over our community development.
Good morning.
Morning.
All right. It was on, I believe, the July 13th Budget and Finance Committee meeting, and it was approved by the committee via consent, I believe. We pulled it from last week's Budget and Finance, City Council meeting because legal advised us that it needed to be withdrawn to address some language in the agreements. So, yes, it was approved by Budget and Finance.
Okay, so can you tell us a little bit, well, I think is just real quick, what was the change?
Yeah, just explain what we're doing.
Okay. What we're doing here is we are reallocating funding that was approved under our PY 44 and PY 45 action plan budgets. That's consistent, that's aligning with our FY 18-19 and FY 19-20 fiscal budgets. The agency who was awarded the funding was notified us that they were not able to spend it, and we have a deadline to spend these of September 30th, or we don't have access to it again from HUD. So our goal is to get that funding reallocated and get it spent for recipients who need the service instead of giving the money back to HUD.
So the YWCA has the capacity to get the money spent
That is
by
correct.
the deadline, or
we won't have access to the funds anymore.
okay. Thank you.
Okay. Any other questions?
Yeah.
Councilor Boyd? Okay.
Well, I was trying to see, how do we get in this kind of shape?
Well, we contract, as you know, we contract with agency sub-recipients, and from time to time, they will notify us that they are not able to spend those funds for the activities that were approved for. In those cases, we have to identify agencies who have the infrastructure in place to expend those funds prior to the timeline elapsing. Now, we are required by HUD to, when we do reallocate those funds, we are mandated to reallocate them to agencies that were under contract in that same program year budget. So we have to find an agency within the same approved budget that has the capacity to spend the funds.
Okay. And what services could we look for them to provide?
Okay, homeless prevention and rapid rehousing. They're very similar activities, but they're different. Homeless prevention, the best example I can give you is to provide stable housing to an individual or family who is in need of it. So in cases of spousal abuse, when we have to remove a family member this is a way to provide them with stable housing. With rapid rehousing, that's more so geared towards homeless individuals and families. So when individuals are exiting homeless shelters and they, for whatever reason, and they need a stable housing instead of going back on the streets, that's what the rapid rehousing funds are intended for.
Yeah, I think it goes a little bit further than that, as I understood it. With the rapid rehouses, also prevented those persons who live in apartments who get behind in their rent. And all I'm saying is, as long as this money is not exclusive to the YCA, because what we need to be concerned about as a council is we often do refer people to various agencies to get assistance. So I want us to understand it's not just somebody coming out of a shelter, but it's somebody already in an apartment who need assistance to maintain that apartment. And I think there are many iterations of that throughout the whole city. And what I don't want to do is it just be exclusive to this organization, and that when we make referrals, because people call us all the time, make referrals, that they have access to this money. So I just want to make sure. And how would we guarantee that?
President Parker.
Yeah, hold on, Councilman. Just hold on. I want to make sure Council Hoyt's finished, and then I'll call on you so we won't go back.
I'm fine. I just but I don't know if everybody understands rapid rehab, and I want to make sure that we all understand it in its totality.
Okay. So we're finished now. I just want to so that we can go.
Fine.
No, hold on.
If you could just answer that.
Okay, do you want to respond to that? Then we'll call on Councilor Smithman.
Okay, and I'm sorry, could you repeat the last part of that question, Councilman?
I want to know, is this exclusive for the YWCA, or will the city, would any of us could refer somebody to realize some of these funds?
The funding and the contract, the funding will go toward the YWCA to provide the funding, to provide the services. Anyone who is in need of the services that the YWCA will provide with the funding is there.
I'm talking about qualified persons. But you said it was folk who coming out of the shelter. That's not the.
I said that's one of the eligibilities. That was just a scenario, sir. This is a wide range. These fundings can be used to inform of.
Yeah. Hold on.
We got to.
No. What I'm saying is, if Mr. Hatcher is speaking, let's just one at a time so we can hear who's speaking. So I'm just, Mr. Hatcher, you have the floor. Right. Yes, sir.
So on the rapid rehousing, they can come in the form of, the homelessness is just one of the primary, and that's one of the most obvious. So, but the services can be utilized as long as the individual qualifies, meaning that they are, meet all the HUD requirements. They, no matter what the scenario is, they can obtain the services through the YWCA.
Yeah. Well, I know JCCO used to have rapid rehousing. They haven't been in housing for a number of years. It's, I just know how it works.
Okay.
And I just want to make sure that we know and the citizens know that you've got somebody who's 2 months, 3 months behind in their rent and they need some help. You need to be calling the YMCA and try to get you some help.
Okay.
All
right.
YW. I said YC then.
Okay.
YC.
Councilor Smithman, you have the floor.
No, I was just going to
ma'am.
make a positive comment on what Council Hoyt was saying. I do think we need to, I know you mentioned this, that we need to have a bigger conversation with nonprofits so we can have the tools to provide people with those services and also to help them out. Governor Ivey had a grant that's out there to help nonprofits. So I think I'm really happy this has come along, but I also agree with Council Hoyt that we need to make sure that if we help our homeless constituents, we can point them to the right directions.
And what we will do is, at our next committee to hold that rolling agenda we have, we'll ask for more expanded conversation around, I think that was one of the items on there, community block grants, but that's, we can have a more expanded conversation that entails all of this, you know, in the next week or two, as relates to understanding what, more about the particular, you know, nonprofits, so we, when people do contact the city or come and contact us, we know who to refer them to, points of contact, and we know how much funding potentially is available and what's that process. So I'm for, you know, we've talked about it, and we'll just have that expanded conversation at a committee of the whole meeting.
Yeah, Mr. President, and if we could get PIO to really promote these nonprofits that provide a service, because everybody's not aware of these nonprofits and what they do, and particularly if we are sponsoring, you know, using our CBDG dollars or whatever to support them, then people need to know what's available, because we at a critical time, and people don't know, and they're suffering. And this is why I think it's important that the public knows, and maybe we need to do these teasers, as we've done about other stuff, need to be teasing this. And so it's on a constant basis that we, each week, that we talk about a nonprofit that we've invested in and the services they provide. I think that's fair.
Yes, sir, and that is what we will do. At our definitely at our next committee of the whole, as you know that, so we have a rolling agenda. That'll be part of that conversation at the committee of the whole meeting regarding all this, and then we'll have some subsequent meetings as relates to how we can help promote the nonprofits and do a better job of communicating with everyone. So that is all part of the next probably 2 weeks. We'll be working on that very intently, you know, with all of us. So I'll call on President Pro Tem Alexander, then I think Dr. Quinn, and then we'll wrap it up. So, yes, ma'am.
Thank you, Mr. President. I just want to echo the conversation that we're having on this item 18 and 19, because in regards to the CARES Relief Act, the $50 million grant that's going to be the Governor Ivey is targeting for nonprofits and faith-based organizations, I would like to also see the conversation included of how we get this information to those organizations. And I know you typically have our lobbyist or Mr. Miller and his team. So if I could ask you if they would work through that for us and see where these dollars are targeted or how these pots are being created for these type organizations. And I agree with comments from Mr. Hoyt in that if the YWCA is going to be, what do I want to say, they'll be facilitating this grant for us to provide these services for these people in need. I just want to be sure that we're making that information known to the people that need the services, because these are dumped in here, and then how do we get that message out? Just last week, we had some, I think, rebuilding or home building efforts that we had to go ahead and make those aware to the public. There was a deadline, so I guess I'm just saying the same thing that Mr. Hoyt has already said.
Yeah,
but if we could be sure our communication, we've got those dollars, and if we could start getting that communication from the mayor's side, and we could reiterate that to the public.
That's right, and we'll be inviting the YWCA to be at our meeting, our committee of the whole meeting as well, and others on how do we improve the messaging and what's their scope. So they'll be invited to participate in one of our committee of the whole meetings within the next week or two, and then also we'll talk about the other funding and stuff we've talked about. So we will include all of that in the next week or two. We will have that we'll have all those conversations.
And may I ask a point of order? We're considering item 18. Is there any way that we could do 19 as well, since they are both the same Similar
If everyone's okay with voting on them as one instead of.
That's fine.
Okay,
Thank
I don't know if we needed to separate them out, but that's fine. Yes, ma'am, Madam Clerk.
You,
Call the item.
you want me to read item 19?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Item 19 is a resolution approving and authorizing the mayor to amend the ESG program contract between the City of Birmingham and the Young Women's Christian Association of Central Alabama, Inc. for additional rapid rehousing services in the amount of $28,774.54 to be paid from reallocated ESG funds from PY 44 2018 to 2019 and PY 45 2019 to 2020 for a total contract amount not to exceed $65,047.54.
Okay. Is there a motion?
I move approval.
Okay.
Second.
And before we vote, Dr. Quinn, if you could hold up. Dr. Quinn, I'm sorry.
Yeah, just a brief comment. So while we're on this topic, I feel it's important to remind folks that in 2007, there was a plan called the 10-year plan to end homelessness in the city of Birmingham that was created. And for us who came into office in 2017, that plan was effectively expired. So coming into office, one of the items that I've had repeated conversation with the administration about is the need to update that plan. And now more than ever, where we are facing a crisis of additional potential homelessness caused by evictions and so on and so forth, I feel that it is very important to reiterate the critical need that plan be updated. So all who are within the sound of my voice, please know that that plan is very important for the future of the city now more than ever, and that issue needs to be addressed immediately. Thank you.
All right. Okay. We're ready to vote, Madam Clerk, for both items.
Okay, yes, sir. President Pro Tem Alexander.
Aye.
Councilor Hilliard.
Aye.
Councilor Hoyt.
Yes.
Councilor O'Quinn.
Yes.
Councilor Smitherman.
Aye.
Councilor Williams.
Aye.
Councilor Abbott.
Aye.
President Parker.
Aye. Okay. Those items pass. Next item, Madam Clerk.
The next item will be on page 52 as item 38. A resolution setting a public hearing September 1st, 2020 to consider the adoption of an ordinance to amend the zoning district map of the city of Birmingham, case number ZAC 2023, to change zone district boundaries from C1 Neighborhood Commercial District to QC2 Qualified General Commercial District in order to allow for a private club, filed by Edward Fletcher, representing the owner, Recut Grass, LLC, for the property located at 1417 Pearson Avenue Southwest and situated in the northeast quarter of Section 9, Township 18 South, Range 3 West, Birmingham.
Is there a motion? Dr. Quinn and Councilor Smitherman. We're ready to vote, Madam Clerk.
President Pro Tem Alexander.
Aye.
Councilor Hilliard.
Aye.
Councilor Hoyt.
Yes.
Councilor O'Quinn.
Yes.
Councilor Smitherman.
Aye.
Councilor Williams.
Aye.
Councilor Woods.
Yes.
Councilor Abbott.
Aye.
And President Parker.
Aye. Okay. That item passes. Next item, Madam Clerk.
That is the last
That's
item
it?
that I
Okay.
have.
All right. Any reports or any announcements? Councilor Hilliard, we'll start with you.
Oh, okay.
Yes, sir.
Ready to- First of all, let me say to my colleague, Stephen, that he brought out a good point. Everybody deserves to be heard. I apologize for pushing that, and I think that he's exactly right, and I learned something every day that I come to the Birmingham City Council. And I hope you accept that apology. All right. Tonight at 7 o'clock, we have our weekly viral meeting, 7:30 p.m. Today we will have Dana Ryan, Deputy Director of Public Works, will be joining us tonight. You can call in to 508-924-1349, 508-924-1349. And we'll be excited to have you tonight at 7:30 p.m. Our phone call. So we will have Dana Ryan from Public Works. Also, Faith Chapel is hosting a blood drive August the 10th at 11 o'clock to 4 p.m. Faith Chapel will be having a blood drive on August the 10th at 11 o'clock to 4 p.m. On 100 Mike Moore Boulevard, Birmingham, Alabama, in Wylam area. There's an urgent need for blood right now, so please be mindful and help in this pandemic time. Wylam is having a virtual neighborhood meeting tonight at 6 o'clock p.m. You can call in to 1-720-740-9863, and you can contact my office for that access code, but I'll give it anyway, 6589-380 #. It's District 9 time. Thank you, Mr. President.
All right, thank you. Dr. Quinn, you're...
Thank you, President Parker. I just want to make folks aware that Birmingham City Schools has put out a survey. Thank you to Councilor Alexander for making me aware of this. But the survey is asking parents about their needs for childcare specifically. So there's an article on AL.com with the link, and if I've also instructed my staff to post it to social media, but I'm encouraging parents to respond to that survey. Again, Birmingham City Schools is assessing the need that parents have for child care during the first 9 weeks of school, where we'll have virtual online classes. And so please take a few moments to respond to that, and also please be aware that your child does need to be registered for school, and you can do that online, and it's a very quick process. Thank you, President Parker.
Yes, sir. Thank you, Dr. Quinn. Councilor Hoyt, you good?
Oh, my.
Good morning.
I didn't think I would be that soon.
We need to come back to you? Or?
No.
Okay.
No. Central Park, well, are they going to meet? Yeah, Central Park Neighborhood Association will meet on August the 13th, and that's at 6 o'clock. Now, I don't know if this is a virtual or a in-person meeting. I'm not sure of that. There is a Miles College virtual prayer for the students' safety as they return on this coming Wednesday, and I've been asked to offer prayer with respect to the students who are returning to Miles College on a virtual platform. And so I want to thank Dean Beatty for inviting me, and there are several other preachers, Q.D. Hammond and Mr. Stanford, Reverend Stanford, a great preacher in his own right. Both of them great preachers, and I was just glad to be included with these giants. So appreciate that. I do want to bring to our attention, I read an article that Roy Johnson wrote with respect to the Alabama Hall of Fame. It is disheartening that you've had a majority white male group deciding who goes into the Hall of Fame. We got some outstanding Alabamians who are African American and not even being considered. I made one example. Dr. Underwood, Clarence Underwood, grew up in my community, went on to earn a PhD back in the 60s. And of course, he went on to become the athletic director of Michigan State. As a matter of fact, he was so good that he retired and they brought him back the second time. And that's when he hired Nick Saban when he was the coach. You know, we got these outstanding, it's just one person, but there are many. And I don't know how you can be objective when you got a board that's primarily men, white men, and we have black athletes who play in this state, all over this state. You know, I imagine Crystal would be up for induction because she played golf. You don't find too many African-American young ladies to play golf, and she was good at it. I know because her mama would inform me. What have you, and then got a scholarship to Hampton University for that. We ought to be concerned, and I'm saying this because they are connected to the World Games. And Edgar Welder is not the only one who needs to resign. We need some diversity on that board, and others need to give up their position, and we get some diversity there. And I want to thank Attorney Reginald McDaniel, who was concerned about this, and the fact that they have not been inclusive of African Americans at all. And the other part of this is that the state supports this kind of blatant racism. They get $300,000 from the state. And we allowed this to happen year after year. This is a new day, you all. Part of the frustration with Black Lives Matter and all these other groups is because of this kind of systemic institutional racism that continues to plague Birmingham and America. You know, and I know my comments are not going to be reiterated because they don't want to hear the truth. But until they decide to throw some dirt over my face, you're going to always get truth from me. I'm just here to tell you. And listen, and it doesn't get better until you address it. And Reginald wrote his letter some months ago. And he copied me on it so that I could be aware. And Edgar been willing and dealing for the World's Games and what have you. You can retire now because you done cut all your deals. It's not fair, you all. It's not. And I want to see some diversity. I want to see some diversity in the World Games. Who gets who builds the stages, who do all that. I want to see it represent the city of Birmingham. And quite frankly, I could care less if it comes here. If it comes here absent of our folk in this city who got different skill sets that could be benefiting from the World Games. And I don't need no more tokens. And y'all read between the lines. I don't need no more tokens. We want real results. And that's just fair. That's all I'm saying. And Mr. President, we need to ask for whoever the chair is to come and meet with this body because they need to understand we're not going to be supporting an organization and giving them access to planning for the World Games and they're not inclusive. And mind you, that one of the most diverse operations coming into the game is the World Game. It's diverse. It's got people from all walks of life, women, men, all special needs, all these folk are considered. And yet we have a board that's been operating for I don't know how many, over 30 years with just white men deciding on who gets to be in the Hall of Fame. It's not right.
Council Hart, just real quick, so I was taking notes. We want someone from the Sports Hall of Fame to
Absolutely.
come to our, okay. All right, just want to make sure I have my notes right. Yes, sir. All right, we will make that happen at our next, one of our next, over the next couple of weeks for one of our meetings. Yes, sir. Committee of the whole, we will add that to the agenda. Councilor Abbott.
Thank you, Mr. President. We have Budget and Finance coming up, and tomorrow is the deadline at noon. And I wanted to ask everyone to please get their information in fully complete, and we'll all be happy.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. Council Williams, real quick, Council Holt, will you forward us that letter that you received, if you'll just forward it to us later? I mean,
Oh, and Mr. President?
Yes, ma'am.
I have one other thing to say. I read the information about Max Rykoff leaving us,
we were going.
and my heart is just broken. I just hate losing Max. He's the life of the party. You know, I mean, I know, but we heard the news today, and I just freaked out when I heard it because I thought, wow, this hurts.
What is the news?
He's going to be leaving. He's going to be leaving, going to Nashville. He's going to Nashville.
You received an email this morning that told you he resigned.
I don't know if he's in the back or not, but
Probably
Come on out, Max.
Max, I'm saying, you know what I'm saying? I'm saying you come out Max.
Up to the microphone. Tell us where you're going.
our Max.
Okay, Max.
Yeah, we can do it today.
Yeah, come on, say something.
You know what? I think real quick before you come up, Max. I think Council Hoyt was thinking about
Max Michael.
Max.
That's
Yeah, that's what you were.
That's what
So
you were,
anyway,
Max.
so anyway, that's what that was. Good morning, sir. How you doing?
Hey guys, members of the Birmingham City Council, the mayor in his absence. I'm moving to Nashville with my girlfriend. She decided to pursue her dream of being a nurse midwife and got accepted into a wonderful program at Vanderbilt. So I'm going to be moving with her. I just wanted to say how grateful I am for the past 3+ years of working here. I've learned an incredible amount about city government. Hopefully that'll serve me well in my life and future career. It's been an absolute pleasure doing my part to serve the citizens of Birmingham, my beloved city, my hometown. So thank you guys so much. I'll miss all of you, and I'll be just a couple hours away. If you're ever in Nashville, let me know. I've got a place for you to sleep, and I'll definitely be coming back to visit. Thank you, guys.
Thank you, sir. Did we have anything else?
Yeah,
Everybody?
well, thank you, Max, for all your hard work. I think that you started simultaneously when I started, or about the same time, and I'm glad to see you hopeful that your city work here will translate into your future career. However, I have some doubts. But anyway, I want to reiterate. So really, seriously, Max, you've done an outstanding job and been willing to meet with all 9 of us on the weekend when it's cold or hot outside and we're doing something in the community. You're always there with a smile, and so that did not go unnoticed by my office, and I think I speak for all 9 of us. Is that willingness to do your job even on a Saturday morning is what did not go unnoticed. So thank you for your hard work. I want to reiterate something that one of my colleagues, Councilor O'Quinn, said, and related to the first 9 weeks of Birmingham City Schools being solely online, and it is important that not only that the parents register their child, but also the second half is if that parent or guardian does not think that they are going to be able to be with their child because of their employment or because of whatever situation, it's important that they fill that out online on that separate survey as well. I have a lot of concerns about this upcoming 9 weeks, a lot of apprehension. I don't think that in the history of Birmingham City Schools that there's ever been an online semester. I'm not saying it's the wrong thing to do. I'm saying that a lot of times parents haven't had to think about daycare for their children during the school year, and I think that might be a very hard adjustment. A lot of our parents are employed and have to show up to work to make a living, so that it's a real concern. So I want to reiterate that the importance of not only registering but also filling out that second survey so that the Birmingham City School Board will have an idea of what that might look like for this very unusual online 9 weeks that we're about to have here in the city of Birmingham. Other than that, we're going to have public safety today and at 3:30 in these chambers, and also want to reiterate the Eastlake Farmers Market that's going on. If you do have a EBD card or any type of nutritional assistance, you can always go out to the Eastlake Farmers Market, and we've helped. My office has helped sponsor that, so everybody can, as long as you have that card, you can buy twice as many fresh fruits and vegetables as you would be able to in another setting, and it's all sourced from local farms in our metro area. So it helps not only the farmers, but helps those that might not be able to access those fresh fruits and vegetables that might not be at one of the places that are available for shopping on the east side. So just remember that. That's every Saturday from 8 to noon, Eastlake United Methodist Church. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you, sir. Councilor Woods,
Just real quick, wanted to acknowledge a couple of major birthdays coming up this week on August 7th. Got some heavy hitters. If you want to say your age, feel free, but August 7th, Councilor Parker, President Parker, and Councilor Smitherman. Happy birthday.
All right.
Yeah. Well, thank you all. You know what? We'll fight it out off a golf match.
We actually have the
we're gonna play golf
That's what's funny.
Friday, so we're gonna tee it off over a golf match at some point down to see who's the winner. You know, Council, we're gonna see how good Councilor Smitherman is out there on the golf course. So, yeah. So anyway, Councilor Smitherman. Yes,
Thank you, Councilor Woods. We're going to have a PIC meeting at 2 p.m. today in the council chambers. As chairperson of the Public Improvements Committee, I am announcing a seat for the Land Bank Authority. All interested applicants should submit their resumes to attention Laquita Wilson, District 6 Office, Birmingham City Council, 710 North 20th Street, Birmingham, Alabama, 35203, or via email at Laquita, LAQUITA.wilson@birminghamal.gov. All resumes should be received by 5 p.m. September 4th, 2020. I just received an article today about the census. They're actually going to stop the count on September 30th. And I don't know if you guys have been looking at the rates, but the actual state is only at 60%, and I think our city is at 51%, which is really bad. We're at risk of losing a congressional seat, and I know we need as much representation as we can, especially for people of color. So hopefully we can revamp those efforts. I know President Parker, Councilor Williams, and I are on the Census Committee. I'm sure President Parker has some tricks up his sleeves about that.
I'm wearing the census shirt today. That's a good indication that I was in my comments. So you taking my thunder. So
no, you're fine. And then last announcement, the District 6 office will be hosting a carpool cinema at George Road Park. It starts at 7 p.m. The movie starts at 8 p.m. this Saturday, August 8th, 2020. It's free admission. We'll have free wings from J Wings, popcorn, candy, and cupcakes from K&J Pastries while it lasts.
What time is that?
The movie starts at 8. Oh, and we'll also have a live DJ, Chris Coleman from 94.9. And the movie is little. But we start opening up the parking lot at 7 p.m. and the movie starts at 8. I would like to invite all of my colleagues. I already know Councilor Williams told me no, but it's okay. Thank you, President Parker.
Okay.
Just real quick. Yes, I heard the information about the census this morning, and it just reminds me that people really need to check their voter registration status. You know, with everything that's been going on, the voter rolls have been purged, and it's really important to make sure that you're registered in your current location of residence. And y'all, we have to do something to get this mentally ill person out of the White House. It is everyday insanity, and this Donald Trump has to go. So please take a moment to check your voter registration status, check the rules and regulations on absentee voting, apply for an absentee ballot. But please take a moment to take care of that. It is absolutely critical for the future of this country that we get this person out of the White House.
Okay, all right, here we are. So we got Council Hilliard, Council Hoyt. Let's everybody one or two more times. Then I've got a President Pro. We're gonna say the best for last, President Pro Tem Alexander. So, Councilor Hilliard, real quick, Council Hoyt, and then we're gonna have President Pro Tem Alexander close us out.
Thank you, Mr. President. We have 3 vacancies on the Industrial Development Board. I wanted to announce that. On our Commercial Development Board, we have vacancies, and on our Downtown Redevelopment Authority, we will be accepting applications for anyone who's interested in those positions. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Councilor Hoyt?
Yes, I did want to say that there's a special call meeting today at 5:15 for the Transportation Committee. This in order to address some issues the administration wants to for us to look at to see how we might help local businesses in this community. So I thought it was appropriate. I want to say that. And Dr. Quinn, I love your voice. I don't think I've ever loved it so much. But you are dead on it. But I want to remind us that God is in control.
Yes.
Do you hear me? Yes. Don't give him too much credit, because he ain't. Listen, God gonna take care of all of us, and gonna take care of him too.
Okay. Real quick, no, I'll say my comments. President Pro Tem Alexander.
Thank you, Mr. President. I had one item that I wanted to bring to the mayor's attention, but given the subject of the District 9 call tonight, Councilor Hilliard, if you could pose this question to the representative we have from the Department of Public Works. I'm having a lot of requests from citizens about the process for, and maybe Ms. Abbott can speak to this, how they prep and bag the leaves for brush pickup. And I've had several calls from residents concerning confusion about the process. So I just wanted some reiteration for public to know what that process is, because I believe people are just piling the leaves in that area. And is this going to be that representative from Public Works, or?
Yes, it is, but you've never called in to my show.
So I will do it tonight.
You
give me that number? Thank you. I will certainly do that. All right, well, thank you very much. But that is a concern. And also, when we've had some people now that are just throwing litter in the street or the bags of garbage, and it bursts the bag, but then apparently Public Works is just passing by, because of course that trash isn't in a resident or it isn't bagged, because someone just threw the litter out. So there was just a concern by citizens, how do they get that service and what do they need to do? And they've called 311, but they were just asking, how do we get that out to the masses? So I will call that question in, and I didn't know if Ms. Abbott, you've talked about bag and unbagged leaves before.
Well, yeah, I mean, the law requires that you bag your leaves. Okay. It's not an option. The thing that irritates me is that the city will pick it up anyway, and if you pick it up anyway, then, you know, we do a lot of strange things, you know, and I realize Public Works is under the gun, because
yes,
they're darned if they do and darned if they don't, because somebody's going to complain no matter what they do. But if you reward bad behavior, people continue to behave badly. I mean, that's just a sad fact of life.
Great. And so the purpose of my question or comment, or what I was going to refer to the mayor, is just being sure that that information or that process is readily known, so that residents will know what they need to do. As far as announcements, the Oakwood Place Neighborhood Association, they will be meeting by conference call this afternoon at 4:00 p.m. The call-in information is 1-602-580-9380. That's 1-602-580-9380. And I'll be posting this on the D7 page along with the access code, which is 2938957. So that's the Oakwood Place Neighborhood Association. They'll be meeting by conference call on August 4th at 4 p.m. And I do want to thank each of the councilors for the comments that you all have made today. I do want to piggyback on Councilor Hoyt and Mr. McDaniels, Attorney McDaniels, bringing to our attention the makeup of the board over there, and I'm hopeful that there will be, and Roy Johnson as well for putting that article. I did see it last night, so I thank you for bringing that up, and I thank Attorney McDaniel for bringing that to our attention through that email. So thank you very much, and I look forward to them coming over to our COW and bringing that information to us.
And what we'll probably do is invite both parties, Mr. Attorney McDaniels and the Sports Hall of Fame, so we'll invite everyone, Council, to move on that. All right, real quick before I make a motion, Councilor Hoyt, I was going to send an item over about an issue with regarding Lawson Road, but there was a big accident over there, major accident over off of Terrence Huffman. But we'll just put that on a committee of the whole or something. But because you have your meeting at 5:15 today, so we'll just put that one on. But that was some issues dealing with. Yes, ma'am.
I have one other item. I just wanted to know if the public will be receiving any update. We do have a opening. We don't have representation on the Board of Education in District 7, and so I believe there was a question regarding whether that would be by vote or not. And so can we get any update from the commission on whether or not there will be a call for a vote?
Yes, ma'am. We would send a note over to the mayor and the city attorney to just provide an update. There was an initial meeting 2 weeks ago, I think 2 weeks ago Friday, but we will send that information and ask for an update, whether written or whatever, as far as what the next steps are as relates to the vacancy.
Thank you.
And I think there's some cost associated with it as well. So I think they're trying to figure out, and I think this, since Mr. Frazier's not here, probably just wait to him to come back. But I think there's some costs going to be associated with that as well. If there is a special election. So yes, ma'am. So we will do a written follow-up. Okay. All right. With that, appreciate everybody.
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
All in favor, let it be known by saying aye. Aye. All opposed?
Okay. Thank you all. Be safe.